Hi, it's Kris Tenny-Brittian, and I'm so glad to get to be with you here for this course in education, or Christian education, we might say, and leader development with the Center for Ministry. I'm sitting in the chapel at Raytown Christian Church in Kansas City, or Raytown, Missouri. It's one of the small towns, some might call it a suburb, a sub-city of Kansas City, Missouri in this case. I'm sitting in here. I thought I'll sit in here because we use this space. We used to use it for children's worship time. We've moved into a different way of thinking about children's worship today, so we don't use it for that. We use it for funerals a lot, and that is always a good reminder, or funerals are always a good reminder of just what kind of job we've done as educators and developers of leaders within the church, and for God's kingdom, really. That's so much about what this is about, what we're, the kind of work we're to be about when we talk about education. You can see behind me some of the fun things we do. There's this little throne that used to belong to a poet laureate. My understanding is she used to sit on that little chair. It's not a throne, but it looks like a throne. This little chair when she gave poetry readings. We've got camera stands back there. We've got lighting. We had breakfast with the bunny a few weeks ago and invited people, children in particular, to come in from around the community for free pictures with the bunny. The only place in Raytown that you could get your picture taken with the Easter bunny was here at the Raytown Christian Church. Another way of reaching out, but that's an evangelism course, and this Tenny-Brittian doesn't teach that at Center for Ministry, at least. Anyways, I want us to expand our thinking over these 8 weeks. I want us to think beyond boxes, to think outside of boxes, and what do they say? Color outside the lines. You know, it's a really big deal today for adults to be coloring. We have coloring books and coloring Bibles and all of those fun things. And I wonder what would happen if we colored outside the lines of our Bibles and we colored outside the lines of our readings. What might education and leadership development look like then? Will we even do education? That's one of the things I want us to talk about these 8 weeks is, is education even the right word for what we're doing, what we're trying to do? Is it really educating that we're to be about? Or is this thing we've called education not really education? Have we been drawing lines with that word education? Is education a line that we either have to get out of, or we have to turn it around, or what? I don't want to put any thoughts into your minds as to what exactly I'm saying, because obviously I'm not exactly sure what I'm saying either. But we're going to play with this and move past playing so that we can be real about this, and that we can maybe gain some clarity. This course about what it is that God is needing in this place and time for His children, for those who are to be His children. What is God's pull and tug? Excuse me, those are lilacs that are bugging me. It's allergy time. What is God calling us to do as individuals, as a church? And how might we gain some discernment and clarity about that? That is one of the prayers I have as we're moving into this course. I want to use this time right now, this first week, to make sure we're on the same page as much as we can be. You might want to take a moment and go get your syllabus. You can print it out, use it online. I've got mine where I can both write on it, carry it around with me in a couple different forms. I always have it with me on my tablet and my phone as well, so that I can access that. I would keep that in mind. You need to have it somewhere where you can put your hands on it. You can take notes if you need it. But what I really, from the pedantic pedantic teacher side of this, instructor side of this, I want you to go with me over this, because I want this to be successful class. And not success for me. I have a commitment to helping people, students, people in general, be as successful as they can be. And I believe that everybody can be successful in their own right, in their own ways. But so often we get in the way of that for ourselves. So one of the key pieces for your success in this course is going to be staying by this syllabus. It has everything you need to know. It's got the readings out there every week. There are the readings. It tells you what is due when. Do it. That's all you need to do, is do it. Show up, bring yourself into it, do the best that you can. That's what I'm asking you to do. You'll see on there, everybody starts with an A. I'm going to give you, I don't even think it's the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give you that I know you can make an A in this course. And whether you keep the grade or you trade it off or you lose it or you do whatever, it's yours to keep it or to lose it. If you have an emergency, some kind of extenuating circumstance, please tell me as soon as you know of it, and we can work around that. If you've got a big something coming up, if you're getting married this course, I had a student who got married during the course, and that student needed a week off. And you know what? He got a free pass as a wedding gift. So if you've got something like that you know is coming, tell me so we can figure out what you need to do. Don't get married, though, just so you get a free pass, okay? So let's just look just spot onto this syllabus real quick. I'm looking at the third page, or maybe we need to go through the first two pages. So there's the requirements, required texts. You know that there's only one book that you have to buy. It's Karen Tighe's Basics of Christian Education. It's a standard, been around for a long time, 17 years old, but it still remains pretty much the standard for us within the Christian churches, Disciples of Christ, the UCC. It's a good basic primer, so we're gonna go with that. You're also going to see in here that there are a lot of different readings as well, and I'll be posting those online as we go along. I have them set out. I just need to get them set up into our resources so that after this week at least you'll be able to begin reading ahead. Don't get too far ahead probably, but most of what these additional resources are pieces that come from the United Methodist, what is it called? Board of Leadership. That's not right. Global Board of Discipleship and Leadership Ministries. There's one this week that comes from the United Church of Christ, the Leadership Ministries of the United Church of Christ. So there are a lot of different pieces. As we get more towards the end of the course, I have pieces that I've been working on for a number of years, some pieces that began to develop as I was working on my doctoral program back in the early mid-2000s. So you're going to see that. Some pieces that my husband, some of you have had him for class, Bill Tenny-Brittian, some pieces and a couple in particular that he's worked on that I find just so basic for us, and how, I'm going to be very, I'm just going to say it, that in a lot of ways the church has been missing the boat on what we're developing through church. And some of you, if you've had me for class, or you've seen me speak before, you've heard me say this. Jesus didn't call Christians, he called disciples, right? So he wants us to be more than Christians. Christians are people who know, who is sent to, you've been baptized, you're a Christian, but he didn't call us merely to be baptized and say, yeah, I know him. What did he say? I come and follow me. I send you. That's disciple. And that is where we have let people off the hook, maybe, right? We've short sold. And we've said it's good enough just to say yes, and we'll bend over backwards, and we will do whatever we need to make sure that you keep coming to church, even if that's only maybe once or twice a year. So we've got to be rethinking this, and it's something that I hope you'll see I'm passionate about. I cut my teeth on Christian education beginning in 1982 when I became a Christian. I learned Sunday school stories from Saint May Pittner, who taught 3rd and 4th grade Sunday school in an inner city Atlanta United Methodist Church. There were 2 students in the class. One was in 3rd grade, one was in 4th grade, Tracy and Angie, who were cousins. And they were one of about 7 children that came to that church. I learned the stories. You tell me the stories of Jesus. I learned those stories from that Sunday school class that I was learning to teach. But it's more than just the stories, isn't it? It's more than just learning stories. And we put so much focus on that. Even in seminary, we're learning the stories. But so many of us have not been taught how to tell our own stories, or we haven't had our stories compelled out of us, or we haven't seen how our stories meet with the stories of others. And I remember asking my father when I was a little girl, do you think that there will ever be another Bible or another Testament? There's the Old Testament, there's the New Testament, but what happens with all the stories since then? And he didn't have an answer for that, and it doesn't look like there's going to be an addendum to the Bible anytime soon. But why should there be? Because all our stories are holy, and all of our stories really can, again, with that coaxing, with that inviting, with that compelling, with that modeling, teaching, walking alongside to hear and to listen to reflect with people about their stories. That's where lives are being changed. That's really what this education and leader development work is about. So, going back to all of that, I went on that massive tangent because you're going to see work that is obviously close to my heart, that I'm passionate about, that I've been working on over these years and have been teaching in different venues, and now I get to share with you. As with everything, there are going to be things on here that you like and things that you really don't like. Some wisdom that came to me from a professor many years ago was, I don't expect you to like everything that you read. I do, though, expect you to believe that I've asked you to read it for a reason. And maybe I've asked you to read it because I know you're not going to like it, but it's important. I'm not even going to begin to pretend what you're going to like and what you're not going to like. Hopefully you're going to like it all. But if you fundamentally disagree with something, don't blow it off. Just know that there's a reason I've asked you to read it. And it may not be because I think it's something really important for you to remember or to know. It may be that I want you to read it just to have a different point of view, so that you can formulate your own point of view, and that's what's really important, what I want you to know. So everything we're going to read and look at these 8 weeks, there is a rhyme and a reason to it, and it's not just to give you work. I've culled through, what could I not get, what could I not? You should have seen the initial list before we got to this. So everything on here has got, it's part of a bigger whole, and all I can ask you to do is trust me on that, and I ask you to please really look at it, engage it, and when you don't like something, ask. Don't ask, why does she want me to read this? Ask rather, why am I pushing back against this? What is it in here that I really don't like? What does that say? What does that say about my beliefs? What does that say about my thinking? What does that say about my feelings? Why is this reaction coming? Where's that coming from? And maybe your work that week is kind of little sidestep work, saying what is going on about that, because you know what, that's really important work too that we can be part of, we can do together here during this course. All right, back to the syllabus. So you can see here's the topic, the week. This week it's, the first week, April 25th through May 1st. We're looking at educating Christians and developing Christian leaders, resources to engage. You're going to read, you're watching right now, so you're already doing it, watching the video lecture. And then you've got the readings. Ty is the book, Karen Ty. The introduction, chapters 1 and 2. Then you'll see up there posted, it'll be something along the lines of week 1, reading A2 or A1, then A2. It tells you, it'll have up there what those are, and then I want you to read them. Then the assignments, we're going to have these reflection questions, right? These discussion forum questions. Those are posted on the discussion forum. They'll be up here at 9 a.m. By 9 a.m. every Tuesday. By Wednesday noon, so that's going to give you, what is that, 24, 25, 26, 27 hours, if my counting is right. So you'll have them by 9 a.m. on Tuesday, by noon on Wednesday. You need to have posted your response to those questions, the responses to those questions. There will be anywhere from 2 to 4 questions, and you are to interact with all of those questions. I want you to think about it. I want you to be direct. I want you to be real about it. And quite honestly, unless I ask you, what do you think about this? What do you feel about this? I don't care a whole lot about what you do and don't like, unless it's within the larger context of, this is what I'm learning about myself, or this is why my reaction is really bothering me. This is not, the forum is not a place to lash out, complain. No complaining up here, friends. That's why you've got, hopefully, mentors that you can talk to, that you have friends outside the church that you can talk to. That's a whole other discussion that could be had about those resource and support people for you. We are not your support group, okay? So get in there, answers the questions. You need to know, if you know me in person, you know I swear from time to time, and I'm about to swear, so cover your ears if you don't want to hear it. But this isn't a place for bullshit, okay? Pure and simple. Just, again, be real, do the work, don't make excuses, and lay off the bullshit, okay? Just do it. All right, so there it is. You're going to work with those discussion questions. You're going to post your responses by noon on Wednesday, and then over the next 24 hours, you're going to begin to respond to your classmates' posts. My experience in teaching courses here with Center for Ministry is that people end up talking to everybody. So leave yourself lots of time. It says you've got to respond to the post of at least 3 other people, right? You've got to respond to at least 3 other posts. We're not a large class, and when I initially went into this, I wondered, wow, what if somebody gets left out? Well, no one's ever got left out because everybody posts. So again, just leave yourself time to do that. Again, this isn't that, oh, I really like what you said, or, oh, that's nice. Forget the surface comment stuff. Just interact with it. What is that sparking in you? What are you learning from them? What are you what experience maybe do you have, how about that? What experience do you have that might add to what they're thinking? What angel advocate piece can you play? And what I'll find, and you'll find, is that we may not well, I expect we will not all be on the same theological, political spectrums. And by the way, no politics, okay? No politics whatsoever. We're going to be, and we are all over the place. But I may feel really strongly about, say, Christian education, and you may feel really strongly about faith development. Not that those necessarily aren't the same, right? But we may think we're this way, but actually once you get all of us in here together, you're going to find this beautiful mix. So if you can take your thoughts, you can take what you bring into this conversation, put it out there on the discussion forum, try not to hold it tightly, but to lay it out there for conversation and to pick up everybody's with yours. You're not there to try to convince anybody. We're not on sides. This isn't to get somebody over on your side. It's to lay it out there. And when we do that, and we do that prayerfully, what you're going to find is that the Holy Spirit is going to take it and do really incredible things. And we're all going to learn exactly what it is that we need to learn, right? That you need to learn, that I need to learn, that we together need or can learn. All right, so you've got your assignments pieces here. You're going to respond to those posts by Thursday at noon. Continue to interact with the post, but no more posting after 3 o'clock on Saturday. I know that many of you are serving in congregational settings. Some of you are pastoring or are on pastoral staffs, either paid or as unpaid, unsalaried, unpaid staff. Some would call you volunteers, but you're just really unpaid staff. And I expect you to be centered and ready. I believe in Sabbath. And for the sake of the way the church goes, when you're bivocational, you don't get Sundays off, but you need to be done with classwork. So from 3 on Saturday afternoon until 9 a.m. on Tuesday, there's no work. Okay, I'm always, I giggle when I go back, and I just happen for some reason to look back at a previous week discussion forum, and I see that people had posted, continued posting after 3 o'clock on Saturday, and that you're not going to lose points. Okay, please don't, there's nothing wrong with that, except that just know that we're not going to be looking at it. Maybe I should take off points so that you will take that time for yourself and stop working, because some of us need to learn that. Okay, so you'll see that assignments for every week, moving through, and let me just keep checking on this and make sure I'm on the same page. You've got a final paper that will be due, and you can see the details for that. We'll talk about that in upcoming weeks. What else do I want to say? Where you see objectives on this syllabus, we have designed this course so that it can satisfy requirements that are needed for the Christian Church Disciples of Christ if you're pursuing ministry, either commissioned ministry or ordained ministry. There are 16 skills and practices. All of them have objectives, and there are, I don't remember now, 7 or 8 objectives it says on the front of this syllabus how many objectives there are, and so over the course of this course, 7 objectives, over the course of this course, you will get to work with. You will have for your portfolio that you are putting together to show that you've taken and that you are becoming competent within this this area known as education and leadership development. You'll be able to show all of your work. So you're going to want to be copying off some of your discussion questions so that you can have that within your portfolio. If you're in the Christian Church Disciples of Christ, I think UCC, you may have something very, very similar. United Methodist Presbyterians, if we've got you in the class, be keeping that in mind as well, because these definitely are pieces that you can use to show that you've been working within these learning contexts. Anyways, the objectives follow through to what correspond correlate to those expectations by the larger denomination. Let's see. I want to say I think there's only one more piece that I would like to add to you with this that can be troublesome for some people, so I just want to call it out there. You will hear me use masculine pronouns for God. So you will hear me say he, his. You will see when I do that in writing, I capitalize those. My understanding of God is that God is God. And as a God, we talk about the Holy Spirit, that is genderless. There is no gender that goes with that. Gender is not even a concept that goes with something like God. But we, in our human ways, have to put language, right? You can't talk about God without the language to that. And I'm again, overtly aware of the baggage that goes with language, and particularly ascribing masculine language to God. That the reality is, many of us, that's within our tradition, and have been raised with that. And I just live with that as a reality. And that I have to pick language or not. When I was in seminary, I made up a pronoun that was not necessarily a neuter pronoun. It was 3 letters, I think, and there was part of it was Hebrew and part of it was, the ancient Greek. So, and I made notes in every one of my papers that I use this neuter pronoun for God, because to keep saying, well, God, Almighty, or the this or that, just too cumbersome. So you're going to hear me say that again. Just please know that God is not male, female, or anything else. God is God, and when you hear me say He, it's just a convention. And I guess I could say she, but I don't. Marcus Borg, some of you have heard or have read him. I saw him speak at a lecture series a number of years ago up in Washington State. And it was question time after his first lecture, and a woman just really called him out on using masculine pronouns for God. And it was kind of interesting to me, because Marcus Borg is such a scholar, and he was a celebrity in his own way. And here is this young minister calling him out, and he said to her, basically, get over it. He said, I know people have trouble with that. I have a lot of trouble with it, but that's what I use. And we'll give you your money back if you don't want to do it. Just get over it and get to the meat. Don't get caught up there. So there's a lot of things that catch us up, that can trip us up, that don't let us go past that. Please don't let language, my language or the language of your fellow students or anybody else, get in your way. Don't get tripped up there. And that may be part of your ministry. Your personal ministry is helping move us past the language. And if that's your ministry, bless you. And I'm so grateful that you are recognizing that and pursuing this call that God has on you, is given to you, has on your life. But here is not the place to pursue that ministry. Okay, you're in this course around leader development and education, and that's where we're going to rest. Okay, so I hope I haven't scared you, turned you off, that you're not sitting there rolling your eyes and saying, oh my gosh, you are now 29 minutes into this. Are you ever going to shut up? Yes, I am shutting up now. I promise you that future FID lectures will not be this long. I'm amazed myself that it's gone this long. But I really thank you for taking this class. We really are going to have fun. My one real strong piece with this is you can do it. Don't let yourself off the hook. I'm going to I want to help you be as successful as you can be, but you can be as successful only as you want to be. And if at any time you need anything, please call me, email me, and don't text me. I'm really bad with texts. So call me or email me. If you don't hear back from me within 24 hours, then please call me again and tell me when to call you. All right. Thanks again. I look forward to being with you and seeing what God does with all of us. Have a great week.